What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the Jake Gagain Show. We are joined by UFC welterweight Kevin Trailblazer Holland. We are in Phoenix for UFC 274. It's an honor to have you here, man. Great to meet you. I've been watching your fights for a while, so I'm happy to do this interview.
Thank you, bro. I'm happy to be here. It's it's a nice place. Like I was just saying, it's a really, really nice place.
Absolutely, and we got to give a quick shout out to Marshall Inu, who's putting this on. Thank you so much for this. They're sponsoring fighters, doing a lot of great things for fighters. You can see Kevin's rocking it. A lot of UFC fighters are. So make sure to check them out at Marshall Inu. But UFC 274, you just had a great fight 2 cards ago.
Yeah.
A great win. We were just talking about it off camera. A viral moment as well. For those that don't know, Kevin was at the end of the round. He gave a thumbs up, and it went absolutely viral on that. But congratulations on that win.
Thank you.
On the card. And let's talk about Marshall Inu.
Huh?
So when did you start getting paired with Marshall Inu, and what are your thoughts on what they're doing for fighters?
First started getting paired with Marshall right before the Cowboy fight. So right before the Oliveira fight, we actually started working with Marshall, and I think it's amazing. I think it's great what they do for all the other fighters, and keep everybody going. And like we were talking about earlier, they're staying in. They're staying in. They're not just dipping a foot in and pulling out just to get a little clout. They're actually gun ho about helping people, and I think ultimately that makes a big difference.
And, there's a lot of conversations around fighter pay in the UFC, right? Like you see Jake Paul talking about it. He's getting crazy paydays. Tyson Fury. Right now in the UFC, the fighters, look, if you're a top fighter, you're getting great pay. But a lot of guys, you can probably speak to it. Like when you first get started, it's like, what, 10 and 10, 10,000 a show, 10,000 to win?
Yeah, it's not that much when you first get started. So, you definitely love to have sponsors on the back end. Or, it's like when you first get started, it's hard to be as active as I was like in 2020, just because of some fact you don't have a name yet. So you have to kind of like wait your turn because there's a lot of people in there.
Yeah. So
yeah, it does get pretty rough. A lot of people, they get in the UFC and they still keep a regular job. So to have sponsors like you guys is really coming through, probably helping out with the monthly, helping out with the day-to-day stuff. I mean, dude, makes a huge difference. Because the last thing you want to be is a professional athlete still working a regular job.
Exactly, and
it sounds so cool.
It's a pretty cool niche because it's like they came out of nowhere, and it was a issue that everybody was talking about. And to use cryptocurrency to help fighters is incredible. I think we're starting to see it catch on. Like they've sponsored hundreds of fighters.
Yeah.
Not just UFC, Bellator, LFA, ONE FC. Like they're helping a lot of fighters. I think that they're here to stay. But something that's pretty interesting is that when you first get started, you're not making as much money, and it's tough for you to survive. And you're right. And you can probably correct me if I'm wrong, but you guys don't have a salary, right? Like you fight and you get paid when you fight.
Yeah.
But if that fight goes through, if it gets canceled or someone drops out, like you both miss your payday, right?
Yeah. If something happens, we're both SOL.
Yeah.
Nobody's getting any money, nobody's getting any love. So yeah, it sucks. So it's very important to train hard, but also train smart and stay healthy. It's very important to try and choose the right fight. Don't find a guy that's like constantly pulling out fights because you're taking a chance on not getting paid.
Absolutely. And I want to talk to you. It's top of mind here. Obviously, you have to cut weight. Cutting weight's part of UFC. We just saw Charles Oliveira miss his championship weight by half a pound.
Yeah.
As a fighter, what are your thoughts on that? Obviously, he's stripped of his lightweight championship. What are your thoughts on that? Do you think it's a good rule? Like, do you expect these fighters to make that championship weight, or do you think that there should be some sort of leniency?
Championship weight is championship weight. There's no leniency whatsoever. You get leniency when you're fighting a regular fight.
Yeah.
But champion's champ. You know what I mean? It's like I hear they said something about one scale was calibrated different than the other scale, and it's like you got a check scale here and you got another scale here. But it's like that's good. That's all handy and dandy. But I think we get too just like kind of like how I always say about the fighters when they complain about the pay. It's like some fighters, they do get a decent pay, but they don't fight that often.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think we get a little complacent with the company that we're with and the people that we have around us, and we just expect them to do everything for us. I think that when you're a champ, you have to take every precaution. So he probably should have had a scale that he knew was a really good scale, like at home type scale.
Yeah.
And should have been checking his weight on there, as well as the check scale, and then an official scale. And then that would have been 3 scales to see the difference in between the 3. And then he could have been like, okay, why are these 2 close and this one's off? Yeah. It would have just been a better argument. But yeah, I mean, me personally, I really, really do believe in taking the weight cut properly. I missed weight a couple times back in the day at 70. I went up to 85, even though I'm smaller at 85. I never complained about it. I just did what I had to do because I couldn't afford to miss weight again and potentially make it so somebody couldn't get paid, or I was taking a weight advantage. It's not cool. You got to play the game when you're supposed to play the game.
Absolutely. So it's like championship weight is championship weight.
Championship weight is championship weight. Now, if you got a regular fight and you miss by half a pound or something like that, we can talk about it. But it's like championship weight is definitely championship weight. Yeah, you're the champ for a reason.
Yeah.
You got to hold a higher standard than anybody else. you just have to.
Yeah, and what does that do for the mindset? Like he was obviously prepared, just had a great camp. Like he knows that his title is going to get stripped. Do you think that fuels him up and fires him up more? Or do you think it's going to have some sort of a effect on him tonight?
I think that if Charles has any mental effect, that's not what it's been the last 3 to 7 fights of Charles that we've seen lately.
Yeah,
I don't think it's good. It's like before that, I had like pretty much everything saying like Charles has all the tools to win the fight. Gaethje has the knockout punch, right?
Yeah,
it's the savage ability to possibly get it done. Now I'm like, whoa, Gaethje was talking about breaking him. Maybe the word somewhere through the thing got to him, and he, was upset and ate one extra cookie to make himself feel better. I don't know, It's like, but that old Charles, is starting to show signs, and that's what I worry about. So, absolutely. Yeah, I think mentally, missing weight, whether it was half a pound, whether it was this, I think losing your belt, I think all those things added up together. Yeah, I think Charles is kind of having flashbacks, and I'm curious to see if he can get past that.
It's going to be interesting. It's happening tonight, UFC 274. Now, let's take it to you. Because I was a fan of yours, before we met today, watching your fights back in 2020, you were probably I think you were the most active UFC fighter in 2020.
Yeah.
5 fights, 5 wins. What was that like to go on that run in 2020?
You know what? It was pretty cool. It was awesome. That's the type of run I want to go on every year. And the crazy thing about it was we didn't even have a chance to fight 12 months in 2020. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We were signed down about like 7 to 8 months. So, it's like did good 7 to 8 months. It's like they give me a full 12 months and really let me work the way I worked on the last one. I think that we can make some magnificent things happen. It's like you leave it up to me. I fight every other month. I fight every month.
Yeah.
But the level of competition is higher. And it's getting higher and higher. So if I continue to get 4 to 5 in a year, those are good years for me, and those are fascinating years for me. And it does something up here, to stay that active. It keeps me sane.
Absolutely, yeah. You love fighting.
I really do.
You talked about that. You're like, this is the best job in the world. I love it. What about fighting is it that you love so much?
You make your own schedule, but you don't make your own schedule. You know what I mean? That's always a good part about being a boss, right? People respect you, People respect fighters, You have to respect a fighter, right? You never know if he might slap the crap out of you, right? So you gotta have respect for that, Just overall, the physical altercation and the mental capacity you get from just going back and forth from that warfare, you know what I mean? Just even thinking about it, leading up to the fight, thinking about all the things that he could do to you, all the things that you could do to him. It's like, that's amazing to me. It's like overall combat is just amazing to me. So any form of combat, whether I'm watching it or I'm doing it or, you know what I mean? It's fun to me. Even hearing it, you know what I mean? It's like, who likes hearing metal clash? Nobody. Yeah. But if you can hear combat metal clash, that's a different sound.
It's great, man. It's one of the most exciting events. Like I was telling the guys, a lot of guys are going to UFC 274 for the first time, and I'm like, dude, you guys will never go to another sporting event. Like, after you go to a UFC event, and UFC 272, you fought on the main card. I think you were right before the co-main event. What's that like as a fighter, man? To walk out in front of 40,000 people, you get in the cage, they lock the door, Bruce Buffer comes in, announces you, and then the lights go off and you fight. Like, what is that like to fight in front of a live crowd like that?
No feelings whatsoever. Honestly, I'm emotionless. I'm just at peace. I'm not really worried about Bruce Buffer or the people that's on the outside. I mean, I'm very happy for every single person that's involved. But when I'm fighting, I don't think I really see or hear any of those things. I don't even think I pay attention. Now, if you told me I was going out there to read a book, oh my God, bro, I was shut down, bro. I don't know what would happen. I'd probably start crying. I'd probably have an emotional breakdown. Or if you even told me I was just going out there to do anything else besides combat, it'd probably be a different reaction. But combat, everything just kind of tones out. I'm tunnel visioning into exactly what I want to be tunnel visioning into, and that's everything across from me, the opposite of me. You know what I mean? It's like, I just love it.
Yeah, you're just in the zone. Like, you're not hearing the crowd or seeing the ring girls or hearing Bruce Buffer.
I can definitely see the ring girls.
Yeah, we see that.
I can definitely see the ring girls. But, it's like, I can see everything, I can feel everything, but I'm not worried about anything, if that makes sense.
Of course,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like I'm supposed to be here. This is what I'm supposed to be doing. So it's like, if the crowd was booing, it feels like they're cheering. It's like everything just feels like, I'm a gladiator in that moment. I'm having the greatest time of my life. So, yeah, everything is perfect. And the ring girls are just like, it's just like this holy girls just walking around, like just, So, yeah, it's amazing. I love it.
Absolutely. And we're sitting here May 7th. You're in camp right now, right?
Yeah.
You got a big fight coming up in June.
And I did eat a cinnamon bun this morning. Sorry, Charles. I'll get back on it Monday, I promise. Yes, I enjoyed myself this weekend. Yes, I did.
Good.
Yes.
And when's the fight coming up in June?
June 18th, Austin, Texas. I will be fighting Tim Means, the Dirty Bird. I will be choking my bird, my chicken, however you want to say it. Live TV. Don't judge me too much.
Let's go. I'm gonna be watching, man. I'm gonna be tuned in. And
you gonna watch me choke my chicken?
Yeah, we're gonna watch that. Cut that. No. Yeah, but we'll be watching, man. I've been watching your fights, and I want to talk about that Jacare Souza fight because you knocked out a legend on national television from your back.
Yeah.
Like, what was that like? You know, you're fighting a legend who I'm sure you've watched fight a lot, but to knock him out from your back in that type of fashion, like what did that mean to you?
It was surreal. You know what I mean? It's like you get over and you still want to fight some more because it's like the fight should have been over. So you're like, God. Then you want another fight, and you realize it's the end of the year. They're not giving you another fight. So it was one of those moments where it was just like too much to chop up at one time. You know, it was just a lot going on. Then I realized like, oh yeah, I just turned a nightmare into a dream. Like, let's go. You know, because you listen to me closely, and they're like, yeah, I had a dream about this, but really, it's nightmares. You know, back in the day, I was a kid.
Yeah.
Imagine that alligator of a man, Jacare, just
scary man. Yeah,
dude, big guy. You know what I mean? Like the worst nightmare. Like I knew I could strike, but just having dreams of my punches not doing anything, and him grabbing me and just drowning. You know, so for him to be on top of me and me feel like, oh man, he's about to drown me, and then just pow. You know what I mean? Yeah. That feels good.
It was incredible fashion, man.
Yeah.
And like that was, when I became a big fan. I think you're obviously a huge fan favorite. Like you've, just from your accepting all the fights, the wins, your style. Like you're a massive fan favorite. And I appreciate you taking the time today for an interview. And wishing you nothing but the best. And June 18th, we'll watch you choke the chicken.
Yeah. That'd be dope.
Appreciate it, man. Thanks so much.
Yeah, no problem.